Flynn Downes to Southampton. That's what we're going to deal with this morning. Later on this afternoon, this evening, we'll look back at the pre-season friendly, the 2-2 draw with Ferencváros, which I think is what they were called. It's probably not worthy of being a morning video, but we'll have a little chat about that later on. I think there was enough there to get some sort of insight, but let's be fair, it was a little bit boring, really, wasn't it? Anyway, we'll deal with that later on. So Flynn Downes, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's back on apparently, because Southampton have agreed a deal. That was the news late yesterday afternoon from Dharmesh Chef, of course, is the... He's not a chef at all, actually, but he is the Sky Sports News correspondent, the transfer guru, the man that is in the know. Been lucky enough to have him on Harris Chat a few times, actually. I think he might be on the West Ham Way Patreon now. It might be. I might have that wrong. But anyway, he knows about all such things, and he said that the deal is done, that West Ham are given permission for Flynn Downes to fly from Austria. So he didn't obviously take part in the game against Ferencváros. Fly from Austria, go to the south coast, giving him permission to complete a medical. Nobody was overly talking about the price, so everybody was speculating somewhere between 15 and 18 million pounds, apparently. But what was really noticeable by its absence was any talk of Kyle Walker-Peters. So I thought that was quite noteworthy, really. Before we talk about Flynn Downes, so over the last few days, I did me TARDIS Tim, didn't I? And the reason we had a laugh about TARDIS Tim Stuyton was because on the same day there were rumours that he was in Austria. He was in Miami, which is where I think the Copa America final was going to be held. He was in Brazil and he was in England. So he was, which is why I said he had a TARDIS. He was in 4 places at once. Nobody knew where he was. It's now been revealed. He's in Austria. He's actually been photographed in Austria. So, unfortunately, he is not in Brazil. He's not in Brazil. He's not doing a Brazilian. He's not in Brazil giving Lucas Paquetá a cuddle, encouraging him to come home. He's not finalising the deal for Corinthians Wesley. Nor is he in the UK. I don't know who would be scouting, but doing whatever he was doing. Helping out the academy or whatever it was. So yes, Austria for Tim. Anyway, Flynn Downes. Flynn Downes is in Austria, and I'm okay with it, actually. And I'll tell you why I'm okay with it. I think we've got an abundance of players who can play it neat and tidy. And I like Flynn Downes. A lot I like about Flynn Downes. But he is what I would call a neat and tidy midfield player. And looking at Freddie Potts, looking at Lewis Orford, I think they are that, but they have the potential to be more. I also think that's probably what James Ward-Prowse is as well. I think in those sort of terms, we quite possibly have enough cover there. And I wouldn't be surprised. Do I think at the moment Flynn Downes is of a standard higher than Lewis Orford and Freddie Potts? Yeah. But give it another 12 months, I think they will probably be a higher standard than him. So I think this is probably good business. I don't think we get this money in 12 months' time for Flynn Downes. And I know I'm probably contradicting what I said as I wanted to keep him. I did, but I'm armed with a little bit more information now. The information is that, well, I've seen a little bit more of Freddie Potts and Lewis Orford. I know it was a crap game. I know it was a boring game against Ferencváros. I know everybody was unfit and so on and so forth. But looking at it now and looking at the sort of stalemate and standoff that's going on with Kyle Walker-Peters, I think it's probably right for us to try and get a deal done, get some money in, and that just allows us to sort of plough forward and go and bring somebody else in. I'll probably talk about it more later on about the right back situation, just from what I saw in the friendly there. I understand that Soufal wasn't in the friendly game, but sort of no Soufal, no right back. That's not good. We need 2. So I don't know if we can get this deal over the line, and now we can negotiate with Southampton on a separate deal to somehow facilitate the move for Kyle Walker-Peters. I don't know if that's doable, but it's something I would like to see happen. We're seeing less and less actual trade deals. Now, I don't know if that's part of financial fair play. I don't know if that makes it difficult to register a player at a particular value on the balance sheet. I don't understand it, so I'm not going to pretend to. But even if you look at last season, we did a transaction with Southampton. We bought James Ward-Prowse, and there was an obvious trade there as part of the deal. Flynn Downes went there as part of the deal in the other direction. They were kept as two separate deals. And that doesn't, to me from the outside, because I don't have any knowledge of the inner workings of a football club, that didn't make sense. But there's obviously a really good reason for doing so. So I just wonder if this clears us up to be able to actually go and make a bid for Kyle Walker-Peters, which I do think is really important. In fact, more important than it was. Can I please, before I go any further, point you in a direction of my pube trimmer, quite frankly. Well, not my pube trimmer. You've got to get your own bloody pube trimmer. Disgusting lot. Thank you very much indeed. This is the Manscaped 5.0, and I can tell you, I could probably tell you 4 things about the Manscaped 5.0. It's better than the Manscaped 4.0, better than the Manscaped 3. You get it, you understand. This thing is a miracle. I never thought I would want to take an electrical implement into the shower with me, but you could do this, and there's 2 things don't happen when you do it. Number 1, well, 3 things happen actually. Number 1, you don't electrocute yourself, which is a miracle. Don't try that with a toaster. That will electrocute you, by the way. The second thing is, because of these lovely ceramic blades, it doesn't chop your scrotum up, which I think is always, any time you can avoid any scrotal damage, I think this is very, very, very important. And I think thirdly, if you ever have a power cut, this can be really good because it's got a torch on it. Imagine walking around the house at night like that. I joke and I jest. Actually, I don't. That's all true. Manscaped, we're going to give you 20% off all of Manscaped gear. They have got so much stuff. They got beard trimmers. They got scrotum trimmers. They got nostril hair trimmers, ear hair trimmers. They've got a scrotal ointment. They have not told me to say this stuff. This is the trouble. If you're going to sponsor Hammers Chat and you're going to say what you want, just say what you want. This is the crap. This is the nonsense you're going to get, quite frankly. They've got aftershave. They've got balms. Bum balms. They don't claim it's to be that. I'm calling it a bum balm. They got boxer shorts. So once you've groomed all your bits and they're smelling minty fresh, you can put a pair of boxer shorts on. We're going to get you 20% off any of their stuff. I'm having a laugh, but their stuff is brilliant. I've been using it for years and years and years now. Well, maybe I've over-egged the pudding. Maybe it's about 3 years actually. 20% off plus free shipping. You know what it's like when you go and order something online? It says, do you have a discount code? Well, your answer to this can be yes. I do have a discount code, actually. Let me tell you what your discount code is. Hammers Chat Pubes. All one word. Hammers Chat Pubes. Blame Gio. He invented it. Anyway, there you go. Get yourself trimmed up at discount. Free shipping as well, by the way. So, Flynn Downes. I don't mind him going. Now, we've been linked with Scott McTominay. I've got to say, he's all right, don't get me wrong. He's all right. I can't really see he's particularly what we need. Sorry, I'm just checking my microphones on. I've got the top half of this top is black and the microphone's black, so it's sort of like camouflage and my eyes ain't great. I had to check. I had to check. Do you remember that time my muff fell off the top of my microphone? Sorry. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent again. Right, listen. I don't want McTominay. I think what we really need is some creativity in the midfield. I think this is important. I think we've got a lot of like for like in there, and I think we do need to probably cover ourselves off just in case the worst happens with Lucas Paquetá. I hope it doesn't. I really hope it doesn't. But I think we've got to look after ourselves. We've got to make sure that we've basically got a contingency plan for that as well. The right back, as I mentioned, I think that's really, really important as well. And I'd like to see us step up and you know, really go back into the market again. I've got no complaints so far. I really haven't. You know, because we've got, obviously, we've only got Guilherme, which is great. I know we didn't see much of him in the friendly and whatnot, but it was hot. He was acclimatising. It was... You know, he's had a massive... He's 18 years of age and a massive upheaval. He got moved. He got brought to England, brought to Austria. Anyway, we'll discuss that more later. We've obviously brought in Kilman, and I think that's great. And clean sheet Fodringham, obviously, as well. And that's great, so I've got no complaints, but I think it's time for the next one. I'd like to see us get the next one over the line, particularly having seen what I've seen in that pre-season friendly, and there's clearly a lot of fitness work to be done with a lot of these players. So I think, you know, the quicker we can get them in, the better. And I do wonder how much of this stuff is true that the club have said centre forward is the priority position, and I would absolutely agree. But I do believe a close second is actually right back. I really do. I think we've got options on the left wing. I'd like to see us bring in another left winger, but I look at where we are deficient. At centre-backs, we've got lots. Unless one of them goes, we got lots. You know, Zuma's been heavily involved in training, and is he going to suit a high line? No, he's not. But, you know, you've got Kilman, you've got a Gerd there. For the moment, these players there, whilst they're there, you've got Mavropanos, you've got Zuma, and you've got Kevin Casey there. That's enough. I just don't see it as being a priority at the moment. It's quite pleased, by the way, but I see Kilman's quite comfortable on the ball as well. That was quite nice to see. Right back's an issue. There's absolutely no doubt about it at all. So, you know, getting this Flynn Downes deal done, I think is going to be important for that. Am I sorry to see him go? I am a bit, because he's a West Ham fan. And you know, if I had my way, we'd have 11 West Ham fans playing in the team. But, you know, clearly that can't happen. I wish he'd have been given maybe a little bit more of a chance. But I do understand it's probably too late now. His chance was when he was here the first time. And actually, do you know what? Even during his promotion season with Southampton, I think there were times last season when West Ham really, really struggled. And David Moyes himself was saying we were struggling without Declan Rice. We were, particularly when it transpired that Edson Alvarez was either injured or suspended or whatever, or on the naughty step towards the end, David Moyes just wouldn't play him, would he? And it was apparent that Calvin Phillips wasn't going to feature much for West Ham. I thought actually there were games last season we probably could have done with Flynn Downes, but I think he's missed his chance, and that's a shame. But I think I don't feel overly sorry for him in the sense of, you know what, he's going to have a great career. It's a great place to live down on the south coast. He's got a new family. I think he'll do well. I mean, he'll do really well. He's clearly going back to a club who appreciate him. He's not got to reacquaint himself with everybody. He knows them all. He was only there a matter of weeks ago. The fans love him. The manager absolutely adores him, as it was clear from his comments the other day. And I just think it probably is for everybody. Bit of a win-win. Put some money in our coffers and hopefully allows us, facilitates our ability to go and get someone in. But I want to get him in. I want to get him in quick. I do think it's striker next. Absolutely sure it's striker next. But I would not be disappointed if the next thing we did was right back. I do think there's more than just that needs to be done by the team. But get a striker in, get a right back in. I think immediately the team is looking far, far healthier. But what I do think is important is what Kilman brings. The next player we bring in, I want to be a first team player. That's important. I want to improve the first team, not just the squad. I want the first team. When we look, it's not just Lopetegui's tactics. When we look at that team sheet for next season, I want to look at it, almost place it like for like with what we had last season, and think, okay, that's a better team. Because actually, this person that's come in has displaced somebody in the